If you have been thinking about moving to Lubbock, Texas, well then you probably have a few questions about our city, and you're not alone. I get a ton of questions about Lubbock, and today I wanted to talk about my top 5 most commonly asked questions about the city of Lubbock, Texas, and we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Lubbock, Texas, then be sure to tap that bell and hit that subscribe button so that you can be the first to know about all things happening in Lubbock, Texas. I get calls, texts, emails, and whatever, every single day from people just like you looking to make their move to Lubbock, Texas, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call with the link in that bio or below, and I'd love to help you and your family make a smooth transition to the Lubbock area. So as I mentioned, I do get lots of calls and texts about people looking to move into the Lubbock area. With that, there comes a lot of questions about living in Lubbock. And so I feel like I wanted to take the top 5 questions that I commonly get asked and put it in one video. That way it is there and it'll be a central location because you might have the same question that somebody else has. The first question that I wanted to talk about is, do we get tornadoes? This is a big question because I don't ever want to say no, and I don't ever want to say yes, we get them all the time, but I did want to talk about, about the biggest tornado in our history as a town. Happened on May 11th, 1970. There's actually a memorial dedicated to this tornado in downtown Lubbock. It's a beautiful memorial. If you are in Lubbock, check it out. It's off of Avenue Q in the interstate. But this tornado was the biggest tornado in Lubbock history, and it was an 8.5 mile level 5 tornado. It killed around 28 people with 1,500 more people injured. It destroyed a little over 1,000 homes and also damaged almost over 9,000 homes. So this was a very, very big tornado. It was very detrimental to Lubbock. And so since then, weather patterns have changed. Weather patterns have moved more east out of Lubbock. However, that's not to say that Lubbock never will get a tornado. We are in the month of May at the time of this video, and May is going to be the month with the most tornado watches, with the most severe weather for tornadoes, because you have the hot and you have the winds. It's very windy in Lubbock this time of year. It's a little bit cooler, but you also have these really hot days, and so it's just a very difficult climate, and which also makes it really keen for tornadoes. However, I do think, just doing some research, talking with people that know, or that are experts in tornadoes, they do believe that the tornado alley has shifted away from the city of Lubbock. However, that's not to say that the tornadoes are still not a threat here in Lubbock. And in 2023, there was a total of around 9 supercells or tornadoes that were observed in the 23 counties that Lubbock is involved in, or that Lubbock is a part of in the South Plains. So there's 23 counties that we take into consideration when looking into where tornadoes are located around the Lubbock area, called the South Plains region. And so yes, there has been 9 last year. This year, we had a storm last night where there was a tornado watch, so we do get the watches. I know there's a difference between the watch and the warning, but we do, they could come about, but that's to say that they're not necessarily being watched over the city of Lubbock. It's more so going to be on the outskirts and in smaller towns around Lubbock. Last year, there was a town of Matador that was devastated by a huge tornado that went through their town around this time last year in May, maybe early June. But that was about an hour and a half outside of Lubbock, so a little bit further outside of the city limits. But that tornado did destroy a town very, very, very close to Lubbock. Over the last 21 years, we have been very lucky that tornadoes have not hit any major cities or in Lubbock. And so that's not to say that again, that it won't happen, but we have not seen that in the last 21 years. I did want to touch on the fact that Lubbock has installed, since 2022, around 40 plus tornado sirens around the city of Lubbock. And I hear it every Friday morning where I live, and it goes off for about 5 minutes. The dogs are howling. It's a grand time at 7, 8 in the morning. But they do go off. They do testing every Friday. I don't know how long that's gonna be going on. It's been going on for almost a year now, but you can expect they're all around the city. So they have put those precautionary measures around the town. That way, if you don't have power, you lose power during a storm, you are able to hear the tornado sirens, get out and make it safely to wherever you need to be. So just wanted to touch on tornadoes because that is one of the most, I would say not the most, but one of the most questions that I get on a day-to-day basis. Number 2 that I wanted to talk about is utilities and taxes. I almost hear all the time, we have high tax rates. Yes, we know. We live in the state of Texas. Texas is known to have higher tax rates than most. And again, we do not have state income tax, and I know that does play a little bit of a factor. Maybe where you're coming from does have state income tax, but we have a higher tax rate than what you might be familiar with. And so I wanted to touch on our tax rate. Are taxes higher? Probably yes. The answer would most likely be yes, depending on where you're from. But you can expect, if in the city of Lubbock, you can expect anywhere from around 2.2 to 2.7, 2.8. Now this LISD, which is Lubbock Independent School District, if you are zoned to Lubbock Independent, then you are going to be at a lower tax rate than say Cooper or Friendship. Cooper is going to be on the east side of town, southeast side of town, and that's going to be your highest or your high tax rate around 2.4, 2.5. And then you're going to have Friendship on the west southwest part of town, and that's going to be around 2.6, 2.7. So that's going to be a little bit higher. And so it really just depends on the house that you're looking for. If you have small kiddos and you are really concerned with the school district, a lot of people want to be in Friendship or Cooper. Mix those, Friendship, Cooper, Friendship. But it just depends on, again, what house you're looking for. If you want to be on the south part of town, which is where Lubbock is growing, you will most likely either be in Friendship or Cooper. If you want land, you will most likely be in Friendship or Cooper if you are in the Lubbock area. Now, if you a way to avoid that, little tip is if you want to be on land and outside of the city limits, there are plenty of smaller towns around Lubbock that we can look into that are literally within 5 miles to Lubbock, some of them, and they're on land. The tax rate's going to be a little bit cheaper, and so if you are wanting to avoid the high tax rate and be on land, we can look into some other surrounding small towns around the Lubbock area, which a lot of people love doing because you do feel like you're out in the country, but you're also less than 10 minutes, 20 minutes from the city. And so utilities. A big thing that happened in Lubbock recently is that Lubbock recently the electricity was deregulated. We have had Lubbock Power and Light here in Lubbock forever. And we were not able to pick our utility provider until now. Now, I will say if you are in the west part of town or sometimes in the south part of town, if you are on South Plains Electric Co-op or SPEC, that is still not deregulated. You still will have to use SPEC. But if you are in the city of Lubbock and you had Lubbock Utilities, then you do get the option to choose your electricity provider. That's a big deal. And so a lot of people are doing the research, figuring out how much electricity they can offer, how much it's going to be. We just received our first bill from our electricity providers if you are in Lubbock, if you were with Lubbock Power and Light. And so it's supposed to be cheaper. I don't necessarily know if it is cheaper, but you can expect your electricity bills to be around $150 to around $250. It really just depends, again, on the size of your home, the age of your home, windows, AC unit, all those things, of course, but typically that's going to be what you can see, around $150 to $200. Now that is including trash and water. So we have alleyways, and it's still going to be controlled by the city of Lubbock. So you still get the LP&L bill with the trash and the water. So that will be a separate bill, and then you'll have your separate bill for your electricity. So it's probably going to be around the same as to what you're experiencing now. Gas is going to be the least expensive here in Lubbock. But that's typically what you can expect with your electricity and with your taxes here in Lubbock. Number 3, one of the most commonly asked questions that I get is, what in the world do people do here in Lubbock? What is driving the economy? Why are people moving there? Why is it growing? So all these questions, what do people do there? So I wanted to touch on that just a little bit. I've touched on it before, but realistically, just wanted to kind of dive into what's going on in the job market in Lubbock. Now, between 2019 and 2023, the city of Lubbock saw a 5.1% increase in jobs. And during that time period, the top 3 fastest performing job industries were professional business management, manufacturing, and construction. And so if you are in any of those industries, Lubbock saw a very high increase in that job industry. Now, also to take into consideration with all of Lubbock is that 25% of the population in Lubbock either work in healthcare or in education. Now that's to say we have Texas Tech University as the hub of Lubbock. That is what holds a lot of people. I mean, the university has 50,000 students. And so, I mean, that creates a lot of jobs, personnel, a lot of people moving here for jobs and personnel for the university. And then healthcare system. Our healthcare system is huge. Again, I've talked about the healthcare system. I mean, it is the largest healthcare system in the Panhandle that service and catered to the northeastern part of New Mexico and the southern part of Oklahoma. A lot of people move here to be close to our healthcare system, especially if you're retiring and you are retiring from a different state and you want to be closer to your healthcare. Well, that's what we see a lot is the growth of Lubbock, people moving here for the healthcare reasons, and then also the job industry for the healthcare. So, I mean, that's huge. Education is huge. And then also agriculture. Agriculture is huge here in Lubbock. As you can imagine, I mean, we live in West Texas. We're going to have lots of plains, lots of farmland. So that is a major driving force to our economy as well. Also, I wanted to include a Lubbock Life packet that the city of Lubbock has put out on their website. And I wanted to just include it for you guys so that you can download it here. You can flip through it, look to see what's going on in Lubbock, Texas. Just some fun things about Lubbock in it. It's worth a download if you are considering moving to Lubbock, Texas. Number 4, what is there to do in Lubbock? What do you do? Is there anything to do in Lubbock? That is a common myth that we have about our great city of Lubbock, and there's plenty to do. It's just a small town, you know? We have hiking and biking trails just the same as any other big city. Are they as pretty? Maybe not, but they do exist. We have the biking trails. We do have nightlife just like any other big city. You know, we don't have a huge downtown scene like downtown Dallas or downtown Houston or downtown Austin, right? The legendary 6th Street. But we do have lots of nightlife. It's just spread out along this entire city. You know, there's new bars popping up in downtown Lubbock, and there's new bars popping up off of South Lubbock. So it is very spread out. There's not just one centrally located area of town where people are going to hang out. It's going to be all over. It depends on what you're looking for. Are you wanting a cocktail bar? Are you wanting to go hang out with some friends outdoors? You know, so it just really depends on what time of day. You want some food that's involved. You know, there's so many different aspects of what you can do in Lubbock as regarding the nightlife, but it just really depends on the time of day and what you're really into. But it does exist. It's not irrelevant here in this town. People like to have fun. We always get together, especially in the summer. Everybody wants to be outdoors, and that's something that we're seeing a lot more pop up is the outdoor restaurant scene. We're getting a lot more younger generation, and we like to be outside, and we want to be outside with our dogs and our friends. And so we are seeing a lot more of those restaurants and bars pop up around the city. Now, North Lubbock, you know, they're a little bit slower to develop the nightlife scene, but we're not too far from the action in North Lubbock. You can go into South Lubbock, go into Central Lubbock, or just a quick drive to downtown Lubbock to go into the restaurants or bars that you are wanting to look into. And just like you would do in any other city, I mean, what are you wanting to do in Lubbock? You know, what are you doing now that you don't necessarily think we can do in Lubbock? So that's one question I like to ask is, let's figure that out, and then I will be able to say, you know, hey, yes, we do offer that. You know, I think the biggest thing is just really the hangout spots, getting together. And then also, too, we have tons of concerts here. My husband just went to, you're a big Willie Nelson fan. Willie Nelson just came to Lubbock. So we're a big concert fan. I mean, we have Cook's Garage, which is such a fun place to go to and hang out. We have the United Spirits Arena. We have tons of people coming into that arena. So we have lots of concerts. We have lots of events held here. We have a huge new Buddy Holly Center that was built downtown. So lots of kid events also. I know lots of Disney on Ice come here, lots of plays come here, lots of Broadway plays. So, I mean, really, if you're into that scene, the musical scene, of course, we have tons of that. I mean, we are a huge musical hub. So there's tons to do that way as well. So it really just depends on what you are interested in. But I can guarantee you that you will find something that you love. And if you want to be in more of a group and you want to hang out and do workout groups, we have that too. And lastly, the question that I get a lot is, how are the people? Now, If you ask anybody in Lubbock, especially my clients that have moved here or the people that have lived here, they will tell you that Lubbock has some of the nicest people. Lubbock is a very, very friendly town. And so if you are moving here and you are not used to very friendly town, we're going to show off our Southern hospitality and we are going to put that charm on you, hence the accent. But we are very, very friendly here in Lubbock. I mean, it is a really friendly town. I had a client that moved here from California, and he was saying that the people at the DPS were even friendly, which, you know, the DPS, that's not a fun place to go to anyway. So it's just nice to be able to be around people where you don't feel like you'll get the door slammed in your face. You know, people are very open, accommodating. They will hold your door open. Our grocery workers take the cart out to your car and unload the groceries for you. I mean, it's just a very small knit town. If you don't know somebody, chances are somebody that you know will know them. So it's just, you know everybody in this town. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody, right? So the people are awesome and we are very neighborly friendly. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. So that is one thing that I love about Lubbock. And if you move here, you will understand why people love living here and the people love living here, because you just don't find that in a lot of bigger cities. And I think I'm spoiled to it. You know, like I said, I grew up in Austin, you know, and now I'm spoiled to the way Lubbock is. And I go home and visit family and friends in Houston and Austin and Dallas, wherever. And it's just not the same. It's a little different, but just that little Northwestern or that West Texas hospitality. And I did want to say, the biggest myth that people don't realize about Lubbock is that we do have a lake. We have a lake here. You can go out to Buffalo and Ransom Canyon, or like my husband likes to do, he likes to go fishing and he likes to go to Allen Henry. Allen Henry is 45 minutes to 60 minutes from Lubbock. But realistically, if you are in Austin or you are in Dallas, your closest lake could be an hour to 45 minutes away, even if it's 5 miles on the road because of traffic, you know? So, I mean, you are going to drive just the same that you would in a bigger city in Lubbock to get to Allen Henry. And Allen Henry is a beautiful lake that people love to go to. I love it because it kind of reminds me of Possum Kingdom, where it has a ton of elevation changes. It's not just very flat where you can see for miles like a lot of the lakes here. You know, there's a ton of elevation. It's just beautiful. There's rocks and you can fish, you can ski boat, jet ski, whatever you want to do, you can do it on Lake Allen Henry. I hope that has answered some of your questions. Those are the questions that I commonly get asked. If you have any other questions that maybe I didn't touch on today, or would like to go into more detail on some of the questions that I talked about today, I'd love to get to know you, talk with you, see if we can make Lubbock your future home, and help get those questions answered. And until next time, we'll see you around.